I just want to say that Marina Mabre is a bum, and I own her. She shoved me like that was going to change the score. She was out there putting up Angel Reese stats with her 6 points and 8 me-bounds. She needs to relax. They tried to gang up on me with 3 players because I cooked their whole squad, and I had to let their bench know after I hit that 3-pointer to shut their asses up.
Players are faster, they're better, they're bigger, they're stronger. They're as good as they've ever been.
Caitlin Clark erupts after WNBA drops bombshell suspension on her top enforcer Sophie Cunningham.
My name is Sophie Cunningham, and I won't allow anyone to harm Caitlin Clark. During that game, JC Sheldon deliberately poked Caitlin in the eye, and then Marina Mabre pushed her down, yet the referees did nothing. I simply couldn't bear it. Seeing my teammate treated this way, I knew I had to step up and do something for her.
This isn't just about one player getting sidelined, this is a full-blown meltdown. The WNBA is spiraling, and fans are.
Players are faster, they're better, they're bigger, they're stronger. They're as good as they've ever been. They're as athletic as they've ever been. The game is fast now. Things are happening quickly. Everybody's getting better, except the officials. So we got to find a way to remedy it. I mean, you've heard every coach talk about it, so I don't know what the answer is.
Caitlin Clark's reaction? It could shake the very foundation of women's basketball. Beneath the headline lies a troubling pattern, a league eager to profit off Clark's stardom, yet unwilling to protect her. Now, it looks like they're punishing anyone who dares to have her back. All of this sparked by a flagrant foul that never should have happened in the first place.
Trash talk had been happening everywhere. Technicals, flagrants, all this stuff had been happening. And as JC Sheldon was running down the court for a fast break layup, Sophie Cunningham grabs her and hard fouls her. I think this was Sophie. This was the last 46 seconds of the game. They were up by a lot, so I think it's a possibility that Sophie was trying to send a message.
Late in a tense game, Sophie Cunningham delivered a hard hit while defending Caitlin Clark, and it lit a firestorm. She was tossed from the game almost immediately, but this wasn't just another foul in a heated matchup. Fans knew exactly what they were witnessing, a message from the league. And Caitlin Clark, she was livid.
What did you make of Sophie Cunningham's flagrant foul on JC towards the end?
It was a flagrant foul.
You think it's like defending Caitlin or defending the team, or how do you view just how it opened?
I view it as a flagrant foul.
That's about the game too.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys came for basketball.
Yeah,
Let's talk about basketball. Come on now.
Because Cunningham wasn't just another teammate, she had earned a reputation as one of the few willing to step up and shield Clark from the constant on-court targeting.
Caitlin's teammate, I couldn't sit idly by. I decided to take a stand. In my own way, I made JC Sheldon understand that anyone who hurts Caitlin would face consequences. This wasn't just a foul, it was a warning to everyone. Although I was ejected from the game, I earned the respect of the fans. People thought I did what others were afraid to do, standing up for Caitlin, even at the cost of myself. This makes me furious. The WNBA's rules and biases clearly enable this violent behavior, ignoring players' dignity and safety. The atmosphere of that game grew increasingly tense until I couldn't stand by anymore.
Those hits? They've been stacking up cheap shots, eye pokes, body checks while refs turned a blind eye. This season has pulled back the curtain on a harsh truth. Caitlin Clark is the biggest star the WNBA has ever had, and yet she's being left unprotected.
You are good at basketball, you're pretty, and you got grit. Those 3 things make you bad to the bone. And I think this is one of the new trends that's going on in the WNBA, in my personal opinion, is that not only will you be good at basketball, but you also, some of these women will look like women, right? They used to look like dudes, but now they look like beautiful women that are playing basketball. And one thing I like about Sophie is that she's tough.
Arrival asterisk tripled asterisk viewership, sold out arenas nationwide, and made her jersey the top seller in asterisk all asterisk of sports. But instead of celebrating this historic breakthrough, the league's culture seemed set on tearing her down. When Clark sat out with an injury, WNBA ratings asterisk plummeted asterisk dash a staggering 55% drop. Let that sink in. One player sits and over half. The audience disappears. It confirmed what fans already knew: Clark isn't just part of the league. Asterisk, she is asterisk the league right now. And yet, game after game, she faced brutal treatment on the court, like Marina Mabry's infamous body check, while the league looked the other way.
When I first played her, I I just think she's had a lot of pressure on her shoulders, and I think a lot of people, no one's walked in her footsteps, and so it's really easy to judge and to say things, but at the end of the day, we all need to empower each other and be there for each other. I think she's done a lot, not only her, but that rookie class. They've brought a lot of attention to our league, and it's needed. Like, this is what we've always wanted, and so why would we not embrace them and make sure they're good? And so when we first played them, I was like, hey, keep doing your thing. Like, you're doing a great job. If you ever need anything, reach out. And then the All-Star game, we were just having fun. I mean, she was playing, I was having a good time on the sideline, and I kind of told her, I was like, hey, if you ever want to come to Phoenix, let me know. But that one kind of backfired on me. Now I'm here, which is great.
Of it brought real consequences. The message from officials was loud and clear. Caitlin Clark was on her own. That's where Sophie Cunningham stepped in. A black belt in Taekwondo, she wasn't about to back down. She defended Clark without hesitation, refusing to bow to the league's bullying culture, and for that, she became a target herself.
All right, you guys, we need to talk. I just finished the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game. That was a wild one. That was so unexpected. Everything got spicy. Everything got negative.
The decision to eject Sophie Cunningham sent a chilling message. Not even Caitlin Clark's defenders were safe. What the WNBA hoped would quiet the controversy did the opposite. Instead, it lit a firestorm. Clark's outrage wasn't just about losing an ally on the court, it was about a growing double standard that's been impossible to ignore. While male legends like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird were celebrated for their swagger and trash talk, Clark has been criticized for the same. The league was eager to cash in on her talent and star power, but unwilling to provide her the basic protections every pro athlete deserves. Now, the rumors are flying. Could Caitlin Clark actually leave the WNBA? Could a European team or a billionaire-backed league lure her away? Fans online are already calling for it. One viral post put it bluntly, get out of this toxic league. Let it collapse without you, . And honestly, the tension is reaching a breaking point. The league is standing at a dangerous crossroads. The move to push out Sophie Cunningham didn't just alienate Caitlin Clark, it ignited a fan base already fed up with how she's been treated. Even fellow players are speaking out. She's had a lot of pressure on her shoulders, one veteran said. This rookie class brought the attention we've always wanted. Why wouldn't we embrace that and make sure they're good? That same player admitted she'd once told Clark, if you ever want to come to Phoenix, let me know. And now, well, I'm here, she added with a laugh, referencing her own move, one that fans saw as a shift in loyalty to Clark's corner. Meanwhile, social media exploded. #protect Caitlin Clark started trending again. Commentators slammed the league's leadership. The message was loud and clear. You're losing the one player holding everything together. Because if Clark walks, if she takes one of those rumored offers abroad, it won't just hurt. It'll be catastrophic, ratings will crater, sponsors will vanish, and the message to every future star will be crystal clear. Success in this league comes with a target on your back. The WNBA was handed a once-in-a-generation opportunity, and it's dangerously close to throwing it all away. Generation star. A player who brought in millions-packed arenas and transformed women's basketball into must-watch television. But instead of protecting that asset, the league has allowed a toxic culture to fester, one where the best player is treated like a problem instead of a gift. And that's why Caitlin Clark's fury matters. This isn't just about Sophie Cunningham, it's about whether the WNBA can survive its own self-destructive instincts. So here's the real question: will the league finally wake up and defend its star before it's too late? Or will it drive Caitlin Clark and its future out the door? What do you think? Has the WNBA gone too far this time? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for the latest WNBA drama. Alright, you guys, we need to talk. I just finished the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game. That was a wild one. That was so unexpected. Everything got spicy, everything got negative. Nobody expected this. What should have been a heated WNBA game exploded into one of the wildest brawls of the season. So yesterday, the Indiana Fever played the Connecticut Sun. It was a a basketball game, but the basketball of it got way overshadowed by other elements. It all started when Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark took a brutal eye poke from JCS Sheldon, but instead of settling down, the game spiraled out of control. Sophie Cunningham stormed in, launching a shocking attack on Sheldon in the final seconds. What happened next stunned everyone. Multiple players were thrown out, referees faced historic fines, foul on Charles. Wow, was Beaver going to stay in this game? And now the entire league is under fire. Some are calling it the ugliest moment of the season. Others say it's just the beginning. What really went down on that court, and why is the WNBA handing out its harshest penalties ever? Let's break it all down. Hi, I'm Caitlin Clark, guard for the Indiana Fever. Music gets bumped, will take and hit from 3. The Indiana Fever had come into this game fired up. They were battling through a tough stretch of the season, and Caitlin Clark had been taking more hits than any rookie should have to endure. Opponents were getting physical. Some would say to physical tensions were already high. When the Fever hit the court, the first few minutes of the game set the tone. Hard fouls, trash talk, players bumping each other after whistles. You could feel the frustration building, and Caitlin Clark was right in the middle of it all. The league's biggest star targeted again, but nobody saw what was about to happen next. Midway through the game, in a tense moment, JCS Sheldon got tangled with Caitlin Clark. Suddenly Sheldon reached out and poked Clark in the eye. The crowd gasped. Clark winced in pain, clearly shaken. Cameras caught her wiping her eye as she tried to shake it off. I think in your face. That's what Clark didn't like. Every kid, but this was no ordinary foul. Fans knew it, the players knew it, and the energy in the arena instantly shifted. As you guys can see here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because JC stays in her face, and then Tina Charles runs over. It is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face, and then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now, let's watch this in slow motion here. JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's going to have to start wearing goggles, and then Caitlin pushes her off of her like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey bad out of hell chucks Caitlin Clark to the ground. Indiana's Marina Mabrey didn't hesitate. She charged in and bumped Sheldon, letting her know the Fever weren't going to back down. The officials quickly stepped in, trying to regain control, but the mood had already changed. Caitlin Clark in this particular game kept complaining that she was like scratching her arm, and complained to the officials about it. And honestly, the entire game, they were joining at each other, they were chirping at each other. Marina Mabrey always on the side, coming to her teammates' defense, because we all know Marina Mabrey, but really the boiling point was Sophie Cunningham's hard foul on JCS Sheldon, and I truly think that this was a message that she was sending to the leagues, to the officiating, just like to everybody, because it is not, if you are watching any of these games, you are seeing that there is a disparity in the way that it's being officiated, and the Indiana Fever are held to a standard that no other team is held to. From that point on, every possession felt like it could ignite another fight. With less than a minute to play, things finally boiled over. JC Sheldon drove hard to the rim for a layup, but before she could finish, Sophie Cunningham came flying in and absolutely took her down. Sheldon comes up with the steal, goes coast to coast, and here's we got another. It wasn't subtle. Cunningham's arms were up, her body slammed Sheldon to the floor. The entire arena erupted. Trash talk had been happening everywhere. Technicals, flagrants, all this stuff had been happening, and as JC Sheldon was running down the court for a fast break layup, Sophie Cunningham grabs her and hard fouls her. I think this was Sophie. This was the last 46 seconds of the game. They were up by a lot, so I think it's a possibility that Sophie was trying to send a message to the league, to the officiating, to everybody, that listen, like, Indiana Fever have had enough, and this is what's going to happen. Players sprinted toward the scene. Coaches were screaming. Fans were on their feet, some cheering, some shouting in disbelief. It looked more like a boxing match than a basketball game. Let me see a combo, though the referees scrambled to get between the players after several chaotic minutes. They made their call. Sophie Cunningham, JCS Sheldon, and Lindsay Allen were all ejected from the game. Technical foul on Caitlin, technical foul on Peter Charles, technical fellow over. Wow, is Mab gonna stay in this game? Crowd was stunned. 3 players out and plenty of others could have been tossed to social media. Exploded fans called it one of the dirtiest moments in recent memory. Clips of the brawl spread instantly across TikTok, and X. One post even joked might need to replace the hardwood with a boxing ring after this one. But the fallout was just getting started. The WNBA reviewed the game footage and acted quickly. Now, after this, you guys, of course, the referees are going to review the play because that's a lot of contact going on right there. That's a lot of unnecessary contact. That's a lot of non-basketball contact happening during this play, right? So the three referees that I like to say, they got them straight out of Sephora, because I don't think these referees have ever refereed a professional basketball game. In their life, they took these referees, they were at the monitor, they looked at it for, I'm not even exaggerating, you guys, like 15 minutes, they are watching this play over and over. Their referee Blanca Burns was hit with the harshest penalty the league has ever handed out, a massive fine and public criticism for losing control of the game. Cunningham and Sheldon were both fined and suspended. Other players involved in the chaos also received penalties, and the league's reputation now under fire from all sides. Some fans say the league waited too long to step in. Others argue the players had no choice but to fight back after weeks of uncalled fouls and rising tensions, especially with Caitlin Clark getting targeted game after game. Even commentators are split. One ESPN analyst said the WNBA can't afford another incident like this. It's making headlines for the wrong reasons. But the bigger question now, has the league truly lost control? Because one thing's for sure, with Caitlin Clark still taking heat every week, and players like Sophie Cunningham ready to fight back, this won't be the last time we see fireworks on the court. So after all this, where does the WNBA go from here? Fans are still arguing about what really caused this fight. Was it the refs losing control, players going too far, or is it simply the result of a league that hasn't done enough to protect its biggest star, Caitlin Clark? One thing is clear, tensions are still running high in the next matchup between these teams. It's already being called a must-watch game. Will the players tone it down, or will we see another explosion on the court? And how will the league respond if this happens again? Because if the WNBA can't stop the targeting of Caitlin Clark, and if players like Sophie Cunningham keep taking matters into their own hands, this season might just be getting started. Stay tuned. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete and they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect right out of fierce competition. The WNBA has lost control of the Caitlin Clark hate, and it's spiraling fast. What started as physical play has now become dangerous targeting on court, attacks online, abused players taking cheap shots with no consequences, and the league, they're just letting it happen. Is anybody on this team gonna stand up for Kane Clark? JCS Sheldon grabbing Kane Clark all game, clawing at her. It's like tonight was a brawl, folks. Tonight was a brawl, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, game after game. Clark is the target. Her coach is furious. NBA stars are speaking out. Even the media is now asking if the WNBA has completely lost control. And with every hit, every missed call, the league's reputation takes another blow. Fans are turning on the WNBA. Sponsors are watching closely, and here's the scary part. If this keeps going, it could destroy everything Caitlin Clark has built for the league. So how did it get this bad? And can the WNBA even stop it now? Let's break it all down. Hi, I'm Caitlin Clark, guard for the Indiana Fever. Music gets bumped. We'll take from 3. This is no longer about one game. It's not about one fight. The WNBA's Caitlin Clark problem is a pattern, and everyone can see it's shady. McCoy, Caitlin Clark, does she have a target on her back? Yes, she does, but that's okay. You know, it's funny, man. I think when we talk about women's basketball, it's like we separate it from other sports, right? From football, from basketball, NBA, and shouldn't she come in the league with so much hype? And she deserves it. The targeting of Clark started in her first season, but now it's reached a dangerous new level. Just look at the numbers. Over 17% of all flagrant fouls this season committed against Caitlin Clark. 17% of the WNBA's Flagrant fouls this season have been committed against Caitlin Clark. Yay, oh yes sir, 17% of the WNBA flagrant fouls have been committed against Clark. The Chicago Sky were responsible for 80% of the flagrant fouls committed against Clark, but you know what? Oh, it's the great white height. There's nothing, Shannon. You just want to support that white girl. She busting y'all ass. Hey, there's a women. I ain't going to call y'all name. Y'all had a lot to say. Y'all even tagged me. Why you taking and? That's only what's been called in game after game. Clark is getting hacked, grabbed, shoved, and more often than not the referees let it go. It's not just bad officiating, it's a league-wide failure. Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White said it best. This has been happening all season long. It's a league-wide issue. What was going on with the chipster? And what explanation were you given for the tech that you got a let? I'll take the official questions. There wasn't an explanation for the tech that she got. You know, I think it was pretty obvious that stuff was brewing, right? When the officials don't get control of the ball game, when they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. It's not just this game, it's been happening all season long. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete and they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect right out of fierce competition. And when coaches are calling out the league in post-game interviews, you know something is seriously wrong, because this isn't just physical basketball anymore. It's hate. The hate for Caitlin Clark is now the biggest story in the WNBA, and it's growing out of control. On-court attacks like the recent eye poke and body check, players targeting Clark game after game, and online the abuse is just as bad. The WNBA's leadership has failed to stop it. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert silent, the referees losing control of the games, and now it's turning into a public relations disaster. Fans are calling the league a circus. NBA stars are speaking out. Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Paul George, all defending Clark and criticizing what's happening. You know, like even in my Minnesota days, man, I've always taken a loyalty to all the players that's on the team, and yeah man, it helps confidence, it's helped continuity, you know. And then for that to be your best player, you got to protect the best player, and fans are starting to lose faith in the league. But here's where it gets even worse, because the WNBA's failure to act forced Indiana Fever players to take matters into their own hands. Sophie Cunningham has now stepped in as Clark's enforcer. Game Cunningham delivering a message to the rest of the league: touch Clark and deal with me. And it's working, but it's also escalating the spectacle, and eventually Sophie Cunningham had enough. Oh yeah, Sophie Cunningham had enough, folks. Shout out to Sophie Cunningham. We wanted somebody like this. That said, I'm tired of this. I'm trying to step up. It's time to step up. We're not going to get punked anymore. We're not going to get pushed around anymore. We're not going to get treated like a little sister and more like a little brother anymore. We are going to start being the ones that say, you know what, we're not going to start the fight, but we damn sure will finish the fight. Instead of basketball, we're seeing brawls, headlines about fights, ejections, chaos, and fans are tuning in not for the sport, but for the drama. This is not sustainable. The league's image is being damaged. The story is no longer about the talent on the court, it's about the league's failure to protect its biggest star. And here's the part: the WNBA should really fear ratings. When Caitlin Clark missed 5 games, ratings tanked, attendance dropped, sponsors noticed, owners are now terrified. Another injury to Clark could undo everything the league has built, and with every cheap shot, every missed call, the risk gets higher, right? If you look at this, the viewership, right? People ain't just watching WNBA just to watch it, they're watching it because of Caitlin Clark. Yes sir, and I'm guilty because I'm one of them guys. Oh, is Caitlin playing today? I'm watching it. Oh, she's hurt. I'm not even tuning in. But the league's failure is doing more than hurting ratings, it's dividing the fans. The WNBA's refusal to fix the officiating has fueled a culture war. Now it's not just Fever fans against other teams, it's Caitlin Clark fans against the WNBA itself. And that's the worst possible outcome, because when your biggest fan base is rooting against the league, you have a real problem. The WNBA has created this problem, and now they may not be able to stop it. The targeting of Caitlin Clark is no longer just a story inside the league, it's become a national conversation. Media fans, NBA stars, everyone is watching how the league handles this, and right now, they're not handling it at all. The hate is only getting worse. Every game adds fuel to the fire, and with each cheap shot, each no-call, more fans turn against the league, more voices speak out, and the WNBA's reputation takes another hit. The truth is simple: the league needs Caitlin Clark. Without her, ratings drop, attendance drops, the entire business of the WNBA is tied to her success. But if the league continues to let this hate spiral out of control, they risk losing everything she's built. And here's the scary part: if Clark gets injured, if another attack sidelines her, the damage to the WNBA could be permanent. So now the question isn't whether the league has lost control of the Caitlin Clark hate. They already have. The real question is, can they take it back before it's too late?